Okay, picture this. Imagine it's like something from, I don't know, a high-stakes thriller.
Right.
You've got this buzzing office, computers humming, traders chatting, just a normal Tuesday, right?
Hmm.
At some flashy online betting company HQ.
Yep. Coffee brewing, people planning promos.
Exactly. And then, bam, no knock, nothing. Doors fly open.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Regulators just swarm in, badges out, files. Everyone just freezes.
Stone cold silence.
Yeah. And look, this isn't some scene out of a movie, right?
No, not at all. This is real.
This actually happens. Pretty disruptive stuff in the online betting world. So today, we're going to do a deep dive into something that's, well, vital, but maybe not always visible to the average bettor.
Right. These surprise regulatory raids.
Exactly. On the online betting providers.
Mhm.
Our mission here is to really unpack what these dramatic moments actually are.
And figure out why they happen.
Yeah, look at some real-world examples,
Mm.
bring it to life a bit, and also talk about the impact on just regular staff, which often gets overlooked.
That's a really key point.
And most importantly, explain why all this stuff matters directly to you, especially if you're placing bets on these platforms.
Okay, so we've painted a picture of what it looks like. Pretty dramatic. But beyond that initial shock, what does one of these unannounced visits actually involve? Is it really as sudden as it sounds?
Oh, it absolutely is. And that surprise element, it's everything.
Right.
These things are planned meticulously, almost like military operations sometimes, timed precisely so evidence can't just disappear before they get there.
So they can't, like, wipe servers quickly.
Exactly. They show up, and they are not there for a casual chat. They come ready to act.
Meaning?
Meaning seizing servers, freezing bank accounts, taking employee phones and laptops, demanding emails, internal chats, right there on the spot.
Wow.
It's a full-on evidence hunt. They want to make sure nothing gets missed.
Okay, that level of intensity, it definitely signals they're not just dropping by for a routine checkup.
Not even close.
So what kind of dark stuff are they actually suspecting? What are they looking for when they burst in like that? Fundamentally, they suspect the company is involved in illegal activities or, just seriously failing to comply with the rules.
Like what specifically?
Well, it can be really serious financial crime, like money laundering. That's a big one.
Okay.
Or maybe failing badly on their Know Your Customer, the KYC obligations.
Yeah.
Those are crucial for stopping dirty money.
Right, the ID checks and stuff.
Precisely. Or maybe it's about dodging taxes, big time. Or even insiders manipulating data, or worse, fixing odds so bettors don't get a fair shake.
So a whole range of pretty bad behavior.
Yeah, and if you look at the big picture, these suspicions all point towards sort of a fundamental breakdown of integrity and compliance at that operator.
Let's try and make this more concrete to really do how serious this is. Maybe look at some real cases.
Yeah.
I know there was a pretty major one in Eastern Europe back in 2022.
That's right, yeah. A dawn raid. Authorities hit a pretty well-known sports book.
And what was the suspicion there?
They suspected the company was illegally profiting from match fixing, specifically in lower-tier football leagues.
Okay. And what happened during the raid itself?
Well, servers were pulled immediately, chat logs were gone through with a fine-tooth comb, and several staff members were actually detained right then and there for questioning.
Wow, detained on site.
Yep. Really shows you how quickly things can escalate and how personal it can get for the employees involved.
And you mentioned this isn't just isolated to one region. There was that case in Asia too, right? A top provider raided after whistleblowers spoke up.
Indeed. That was quite something. These insiders revealed the company was basically running two sets of books.
2 sets. How does that work?
Well, one nice, clean version specifically for the regulators looked totally above board.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was this hidden second system, and that one tracked all the off-the-books money coming in from VIP clients, often in countries where they weren't even supposed to be operating.
So totally deceptive.
Highly deceptive. And the raid uncovered millions in winnings that hadn't been declared. It's a stark reminder, really. People think wiping evidence is just shredding paper.
Right.
But I've heard stories, frantic scrambling to unplug servers, factory reset phones in those few seconds while the regulators are walking through the door.
The desperate attempt to hide the digital trail.
Exactly. It just highlights how critical that element of surprise really is for the authorities.
Okay, now here's something I find really interesting. It's easy to think, okay, these raids are for the shady, unlicensed guys operating out of, who knows where.
The fly-by-night operations.
Right. But what about companies that are licensed? The ones in established, regulated places like, say, the UK or Malta. can they get rated too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of changes things, doesn't it?
It really does, and it's a crucial point. People often think, oh, they have a license, they must be safe.
Yeah, that's the common assumption.
But these raids show that a license isn't just like a one-time stamp of approval. It's more like a living contract. It requires continuous compliance. So yeah, even established licensed companies can absolutely be targeted. Maybe they're suspected of breaking advertising rules or failing on responsible gambling duties, or maybe just underreporting how much players are betting.
So the license doesn't make them immune.
Not at all. For you, the better. What this really means is your security doesn't just depend on that initial license. It depends on the operator's ongoing, day-to-day commitment to playing by those strict rules.
We've talked about the companies, the regulators, but companies are made up of people, right? What's the actual human impact here? What happens to the staff, the employees just doing their jobs when suddenly their office is raided?
That's a really important and frankly often unsettling part of this whole picture. It's definitely not just the executives, the top brass who feel the heat.
It's regular employees too.
Oh yes, regular staff. Think compliance officers, odds trader, even people working in customer support. They can all get swept up in it.
And what does that mean for them personally?
Well, their personal devices often get taken. Phones confiscated, work laptops, image basically copied, emails read.
So everything's potentially examined.
Pretty much. Every work email, every internal chat message, maybe even browser history, it suddenly becomes part of the investigation.
That must be incredibly stressful.
Hugely. And some employees might end up suspended from their jobs. They could be formally questioned by authorities or even face charges themselves, especially if it turns out they knowingly helped hide something or maybe just ignored some really obvious red flags inside the company.
So just being an employee doesn't automatically protect you.
No, it's a very unnerving position to be in, regardless of your actual role.
Which really hammers home how vital things like proper internal training are, doesn't it? And keeping good records, having strong whistleblower protections.
Absolutely critical because, you know that old saying, ignorance isn't always a defense, especially when regulators are knocking at the door. But this brings up a really important question, and maybe the most important one for our listeners. Why should you, as a bettor, actually care about any of this?
Right. If you're just placing your weekend bets, does a raid on some company office really affect you? Seems kind of distant.
It might seem distant, but the ripple effect can hit you directly and pretty hard.
How so?
Well, think about it. If a provider you use one where you have money deposited suddenly gets investigated heavily, or worse, shut down completely,
Okay.
your funds could be frozen, just locked up, maybe for a long time. Your pending bets, they could just be voided, gone, no payout.
Ouch.
And then there's your personal data. Your name, address, financial details that could potentially be exposed or tied up in legal battles. It's not just some abstract corporate drama.
Yeah.
It can directly impact your wallet and your privacy.
That really connects the dots. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, in practical terms?
It means you have to be really careful about where you bet.
Yeah.
Choosing licensed operators is step one, obviously.
But as we said, even that isn't foolproof.
Exactly. So don't just take their word for it. If you can, look for evidence of regular audits. Check if they're publicly available. And always, always be super cautious with platforms that promise things that just seem, too good to be true.
Right. Those massive bonuses or guaranteed wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because behind that slick website, there might be, a ticking legal time bomb just waiting for that knock on the door.
So it really makes you think. Next time you see an operator boasting, we've got a Tier 1 license,
Yeah.
Meaning they supposedly meet the highest standards in places like the UK or Malta.
Don't just nod and accept it.
Right. Don't just take it at face value. Remember what we said, a license is a living thing. It needs constant upkeep.
Maybe try and find out how often they actually are audited. Look around, see if you can find any history of past problems or infractions.
It seems like this whole issue of surprise raids,
Yeah.
it really does separate the quick buck artists from the serious professional operations.
It absolutely does. It's a harsh reality check. And this scrutiny from regulators, it isn't just about punishing the bad guys. It's actually essential for pushing the whole industry towards better transparency and accountability. It raises the bar for everyone involved.
Definitely puts things in perspective. So the takeaway, stay sharp, bet responsibly, and be vigilant about where you put your trust and your money.
Because one thing's for sure,
What's that?
the regulators definitely are vigilant.